to Why Will It Be 2014, Part 2. If you haven't already seen Part 1, I'll put a link right here as well as in the comments. And if you haven't joined our contest, deadline January 6th, I'll put another link right here. Do it. For over a millennium and a half, the calendar seemed good. After the fall of Rome, the BC and AD system had taken into effect around the 6th century and spread throughout much of Western Europe. Before that, you pretty much just gauged what year it was by how many years into the reign of the current emperor it was. But gradually, people began to say, doesn't Easter feel really late this year? That's because the Julian calendar and its leap year overcompensated for the remainder. Remember how I said that a year is 365.25 days long? Well, it's actually 365 days, 5 hours, 48 minutes, and 46 seconds. And while the rounded off 11 minutes and 14 seconds won't make a difference over your entire life, by 1582, everything was 10 days off, including equinoxes and Christian holidays. Enter Pope Gregory XIII. In 1582, the Catholic and oh so modest Gregory authorized the Gregorian or New Style calendar. One change was that it again made January 1st the official New Year's Day. Over the centuries, a lot of European countries had fallen back to using a March date as the start of the new year. And secondly, it corrected the New Year's policy with 3 new rules. Leap years will be divisible by 4. Years at the end of a century will not be leap years. And years at the end of a century divisible by 400 will not be leap years. What? Okay, so using these rules, 1896 and 1904 were leap years, but 1900 was not. And the year 2000, divisible by 400, was a leap year, but the year 2100 will not be. Now, this formula does not completely solve the problem, but by the time it becomes an issue again, we should be living on other planets or something. Everyone was on the same page now, right? Wrong! Haven't you learned yet that anytime I ask right, the answer's always wrong? Because by 1582, there were a lot of people in Europe who didn't care what the Pope decreed. Protestant Reformation, anyone? One important naysayer was England. In the 1530s, English monarch and competitive eating champion Henry VIII broke away from the Catholic Church, starting his own, the Anglican Church, and made himself the supreme head. The Pope could make new calendars until he was blue in the face. The Anglican Church, which celebrated New Year's Day on March 25th, didn't care. But some in England, who had remained Catholics, as well as the international traders and merchants, did care. Soon, both old style and new style calendars were in use, confusing the heck out of everyone. To make matters worse, by the 1750s, the two calendars had grown 11 days apart. Eventually, this just became too confusing, and England relented with the Parliament Act of 1750. With this, England and its colonies would get with the program and join the rest of Europe in using the Gregorian calendar. But this was easier said than done, since the old style and new style calendars had different New Years and, as I said, grew 11 days apart. To resolve this, the following sequence in England was used. December 31st, 1750 would be followed by January 1st, 1750. Yeah, Groundhog's Year. March 24th, 1750 would lead into a new year, March 25th, 1751, and December 31st, 1751 would lead into January 1st, 1752, establishing the new New Year policy. Oh yeah, and September 2nd, 1752 would lead into September 14th, 1752, dropping the 11-day difference between the two systems. Sorry, English painter Ozias Humphrey, no birthday for you. It was a year of going back and forth that would make Doc Brown proud, but finally we were all on the same page and we can definitively say that next year is 2014, right? Wrong! The Common Era system, even if it is the most widely accepted one in the world, isn't the only one. Even if the religious aspect is subdued using BCE and CE, it's still completely Eurocentric. I mean, the Hebrew calendar uses biblical creation itself as the starting point and calls the current year AM 5774. In just one of the various Hindu calendars, it's the year 5115. And in the Islamic calendar, it's only 1435 AH. And who's to say that any of these calendars are wrong? Hey, who's to say that any of these calendars are right? I mean, the Earth is roughly 4.54 billion years old. Maybe that should be the year. Or maybe year 13.75 billion, the approximate age of the universe. And that's only in Earth years. If we ever really leave this rock, we may need a whole new system altogether, bringing us back to our key point. Time as we know it is not real. It's just a measurement. And more important than the measurement of time is how we use it. And time itself may be infinite, but our time is not. So make the most of it. That said, if you have some time, don't forget to check out the Mr. Betts Class contest and follow me on Twitter at MrBettsClass. Thank you for making this first year of Mr. Betts Class so awesome. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Be safe, and I'll see you next year.